activation already.
Right.
It's weird.
Then it says it.
Okay, we are now recording.
Thank you, everyone. We'll go around to introductions for the recording. Curtis Landers, Lincoln County Sheriff.
Alan Shank, Sheriff's Office.
Amy Russell, Sheriff's Office.
Jen Metcalf, Phoenix Wellness Center.
Nicole Reardon, Phoenix Wellness Center. Cheryl Blackfire, Circuit Court.
Johnson County Administration.
Jess on the Sheriff's Office. Jenna Walls, DA's Office.
Online, we have Lori, it's listed as Dakota, but we know it's Lori and Guy Greco.
Guy Greco, Defense.
Thank you. And Ken Lip joined us.
Hello.
Okay, so we are back again to talk about the job description. Thank you for being here, Mr. Johnston. And, I know we've done a little bit of work on that over the weekend and then today.
It's 2 weeks. Huh?
Yeah. So do you want to give us an update? You want to start us or do you want us to?
Let's just go back history. So I thought that it was all taken care of. 2 weeks ago, Friday, the sheriff and Lieutenant Shanks and I were doing business in Lincoln City. And I was informed that it had not been done. So I was taken back because I don't like to micromanage. I don't think that's appropriate for the county administrator, but the people that know what to do it. Get on with it. And if you need resources and other things, so be it. But I asked Curtis, I said, could you send me what apparently were a series of progressive job descriptions so I could follow what logic transpired in this? Sent me 3 plus 2, one that came from Benton County and the other one that came from Young County. Now, some time ago, I had trying to get everybody on the same page internally, had identified through CJC the different ways different counties get different things. I just wanted to make sure that I understood what the playing field was like out there. And was provided insight of what we were doing and how we were doing it. Great. You can do that. That's what it's supposed to be done. More power to you. So I thought the job description was going forward. Much to my amazement, it's not. So I asked for that review. I took 2 weeks to go through it, look through it, and had a series of questions that I wrote. I sent to both the sheriff and the district attorney, and then started analysis of where all this transpired. I said, this doesn't make sense to me, because the number one question I had is this a clerical position or is this a technical position? Because it appears to me that the way that it was moved through the progression that needed to have an answer to that. So I talked to a variety of people, but I contacted the district attorney who provided an eloquent response. I identified that in an email over the weekend on this, which really is an individual that, if I believe I'm correct in what you and then both you and the sheriff have informed me, this is a coordinating position. It works with 3-4 organizations. Let me see if I get this right. Law enforcement, district attorney, treatment providers, and if the courts are required, information provided to them if there is a request. There is no need to interface apparently with the actual, and I mean no disrespect, please help me understand something. Do we call those that are impacted or going through deflection clients? Is that the participants? Participants. So they don't really interface with those. They're interfaced with those of you that I just identified. So I was thinking, okay, the last job description that I had that the sheriff gave me, that it required to be bilingual. Why does this position need to be bilingual? And maybe there is somebody made some assumption that this position has to interface with the participant. But it sure doesn't seem like it to me. Am I correct in all of that? Is that observations right?
I don't know if it was a requirement unless it's, because for bilingual, that it was,
It was preferred.
the language that we put in almost all our job descriptions. Is preferred bilingual.
I don't think it's a requirement. I don't even think it really needs to be preferred. They won't be, there was no translation that this person would be doing.
Correct.
Mhm.
So I asked, and it's kind of like my, why would that even need to be there?
Okay, that can be taken out.
And so I looked at that, and then I could understand I think there was some discussion about an associate's degree. That was preferred, but I said, does that really need to even be there too as well?
Right.
We had a desirable qualification.
It's a desirable qualification, okay?
But that was where the bilingual language, and you already pulled out. So
Where the crux of the matter
but not required.
hit with me, and I apologize if I go through this, but seemed like the language was on the last iteration of a job description. And let me just read this to you, because this is where I get confused, and I'm not sure that this is where you want to go. I don't know how this got added, but I don't think this is where you want to go. It said individuals should have a background in behavioral health type programs and services to help assist program participants in gaining access to appropriate services. Now, I don't mean to wordsmith it, but it seems like it was taking it a different direction than what you wanted to coordinate it. Am I correct in that?
Correct, yeah, we don't know who added that. But that was not on the approved job description that we did with HR, what, 2 months ago.
I named this Judge Exhibit C. It's the third iteration, you see, so I'm having to go through all of these and I'm thinking, okay, where did this come from?
That's what we're all at.
From that, that's what we understand. We've been trying to find out
You
for a
think-
month.
Why are we not looking at that one?
Yeah.
It's from HR, but we don't know who included it.
Well,
Right.
okay, so to that point, Sheriff, you were very polite to me and gave me a copy of the Benton County,
That's where
and I didn't see it in the Benton County, I must admit.
that exact language was in there.
But it wasn't in there. Here's the Benton County one. You
I
have,
thought I saw it, because that's where I knew they took it from.
if you can find it, I'd be much obliged, but I read it and I couldn't find it anywhere. And to that end, the title of the legislation is pretty simple. And so, I mean, we're adding more than what I think you need to add, and I don't know how it got there, but it needs to back itself out and get it taken care of. So
Here it
you,
is.
if you,
Special requirements. Individuals should have background or familiarity with behavioral health type programs and services to help assist participants in gaining access to appropriate services.
okay, so excuse me, I'm older than you, so these glasses don't always find things, but thank you for doing that. So
You get Benton County coming out of the health department.
yes, it was that's where I was going next. It is, that one's going out. And if I go back and I review what CJC did in a report that identifies where these programs wind up by county. So they're unique and unusual. And to that point, you really can't necessarily, unless you really want to, copy somebody else's. We're unique and unusual, and as such, our job description should follow that unique and unusual circumstance.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of where I'm trying to get from, and so we left it on Friday. You gave me an eloquent insight, and then on Saturday I wrote the email to 2 of you, and I said, "Is there any kind of business model or deployment plan or something along those lines that enumerates that. And then this morning, you sent me back what I think is the necessary language to make, I go over and sit down with all parties and say, that's what we want, that's how we're gonna get it done, that's what it should be. You get it done, you get it completed, and let's get this out the door and get outcomes and results completed.
We
We're
want.
trying.
Okay, so that, yes.
We have to say.
Yeah, we do.
So they also say individuals that are bilingual are preferred but not required. So that's also Benton County's model, I think, is different because they're doing the in-house, right, with their own behavioral health program. And Tim, I agree that the way the House bill was drafted, they really wanted to give local clinical and each county has different strengths, okay? And this group that's been meeting, our strengths are with the tribe and with Phoenix and with Reconnections who have the staff ready to deploy. And it's not like we're excluding the county, but what we've heard is they do not have the staff or the ability to deploy. We want to talk about long-term, but a stabilization center is a long-term goal, but we understand it's not ready to roll out right now. Okay, and it's gonna take a lot more planning. So what we are ready to roll out right now is the contacts between these treatment agencies and the individual participants. And we can get this off the ground, but we have to have this coordinator position. And you're right, the coordinator position is not gonna be having direct contact with the participants. They're gonna be gathering the information from the providers, reporting that, because at any time the DA could choose to file charges. That's why it was so important this to be in the DA's office, because the DA can pull the trigger on a prosecution at any time. So this person can be working very closely with law enforcement, the DA's office, and the treatment providers, the people who are having contact with the participants. So I think that's what how we envisioned, and it was what we've talked about for months. And then we didn't feel that the person had to have a background in behavioral health because it seemed like more of they're not providing any type of counseling service.
Right, that's what I noticed.
Yes.
And so I apologize, but as I went through this, I said, maybe you just say specifics, experience and program coordination, planning and development, evaluation.
Mhm.
And that's it. I mean, I'm sorry if I didn't make copies for everybody. You all,
They've seen it.
I think
does everybody have that? No, it's the last iteration of that. So that's kind of how I looked at it, and I was stumped like you all are, and I said, I don't get it. So I figured that sometimes when you make the argument, you have to say, we have a deployment plan or model or something I can rely on to say, here's what it is. Now, sometimes we're quick off the swing and we try to move fast, and maybe we don't have necessarily the documentation to share with everybody. But to this point, what you sent me, I think is a perfect illustration of saying, okay, this is what this position is. Do you have any other concerns with this, with an HR or anybody else? And if not, let's get this done and get it out the door.
that'd be great. Are we decided on the, so the last version, what version are we talking about? Okay.
See.
What we're talking about. Okay.
So here's what I would do. I would just say specifics, experience in programming, coordination, planning, and development and evaluation.
Tim, do you have the latest version I sent you?
No, I didn't, Curtis, because you were shifting some other things around with me on that. I'm gonna ask if it's all right, if the sheriff and I can continue to
It's gonna be in the district.
attorney, the three of us get together.
And I
quickly
you have it.
finish it off.
Just can throw it up on the screen for everybody to see what I proposed, and then we can talk about it here a little bit. We've been involving with this work group for all of it all the time, and so I think it's important to see where we're.
But it seemed like to me that is the key issue. And I wanted to get that language taken care of.
So, you'll get that.
And Tim, were you ever able to figure out who in HR added this language and who approved it?
No, I'm trying to get to resolution as quick as we
I
can.
know, okay,
You know, I mean, I can go back later on and
yeah,
what's going on here, but to your point,
Yeah.
it's about, let's get this done.
right. I understand, I just, when all this happened and we were told there would be no changes in the approval, it was hard to know who to go back to. Because no one would tell us who made the changes, so we appreciate you jumping in and kind of taking over and helping us make some headway.
Like I said, I don't like to micromanage experts. Keep your mouth shut, let them do what you need to do and move on with it. But when I found out about this, I think the sheriff would readily admit, I said, you gotta be kidding.
Go down a little bit. So I crossed off this part. I think it maybe,
It has some redundancy with the first bullet point on the job function up above.
it also kind of talked about how maybe someone would think we would need someone with behavioral health experience.
I think case management and coordination, well,
And we have some other things up above with that, but when it says assist program core participants in accessing their services, kind of alludes to they're going to be working more directly with them.
Right.
So I thought crossing that out may clear up some of this.
Yeah.
And then all those other pieces that were in the grant application that I sent you, that was kind of what we were taking this from, were in there, except for, if you scroll down just a little bit further, I added the provide notification of election program completion to the entities responsible for sealing records. That takes care of the expungement and is right from the grant language. And then I told you about the lead thing. That's an easy one because everyone that comes through the door needs that. And
That's let's go back and help people that are not familiar with it, like myself, that had to get familiar in the last 72 hours. Law enforcement data
system.
system. Yeah. So, beyond that, talking with the district attorney, she said, she gave me a good idea how that would go. And when somebody gets hired, you get 3 to 6 months to complete it, and then away we're.
And we usually do it, how long does it usually take?
Is that what you would do?
Yes,
It takes 2 or 3 days to get
I
that.
was gonna say, usually that's the first thing my staff does is get lead certified.
We do too.
Okay. So
can you
thank
scroll down a little bit more? It's not the same.
Thank you for sharing you with that. Now, let me ask you another question that I had, and it's just, it has nothing to do with holding this up. It's just, this is Tim Johnson just asking a benign question. Does this position, by virtue of it goes because of the information that's provided, does it need to have a CGIS background review on it?
Yep.
So do we need to put that on there someplace, that this will prerequisite to employment will be a CGIS? Prerequisite to employment will be a CGIS background check?
Yeah, we can.
We can.
I'm just asking again, I think we have no idea, I'm asking you folks. who are-
Successful completion of the law enforcement.
That would be. That's true. I think we don't have it in maybe some of our jobs because they have to be basically law enforcement background before they get hired.
Which, does that mean, see, that they've already done that?
They do their fingerprints to get CGIS clear before they walk in.
Okay. So in this case, we don't
I don't
have
know.
that, right?
I think ours usually do it within the first few weeks of employment, but we can make it a.
Yeah, successful applicant,
So we're gonna
say, background check or whatever.
Okay, so that we need to put that in there someplace.
Yeah, we'll look at some of
Okay.
so.
Again, I thought about that. This is a benign question. This is not to hold this up. It's just asking you folks a benign question about whether this is something we need to consider for all parties. That's really it. Thank you for your quick update on Friday. It was insightful. So as you noticed, by Saturday, I had written the email that answered all the questions that I had on that. So it seemed for me very forthright, and needs to get done, get it done. So
So
Yeah,
then
The
it's
only
just,
thing we're changing is the background check element. Is that what we're?
well, so this one had what I had sent back to
Yeah,
HR,
this is what,
where I had changed it to try to compromise and say individuals with a background in behavioral health type programs and services is encouraged, and they had told me that no, they had rejected that compromise. So I don't know, are you anticipating
yeah, I
that
mean.
my language is
Yeah,
going?
I'm anticipating that what I'd like to do is just cut it off after evaluation.
Okay.
That's great.
That's what we had
That's
before.
what was approved, yeah.
I mean, I don't care what Benton County has in it. This is Lincoln County.
Yeah.
And unless there's something else that you want to add, I don't see it at all, and people that have
No, that's
said,
what
no,
it
this
was.
is-
I think it was just a
I
compromise.
was just trying to compromise with HR to get it.
Appreciate
along,
that.
but they didn't, they said no, so then I didn't know where to go from there.
But based upon all of your input, it sounds to me like this is clerical, administrative
This is what we.
coordinator position.
Is the substitution note still acceptable? There was some debate about that.
Oh, well, I apologize.
Talked about that at one of the meetings.
We don't want the second
I mean,
one.
we don't need a psychological, I mean, we could add that. I don't think,
Jenna.
my other job description.
Was the substitution note, have we talked about that? We talked about it at one of our other meetings.
Yes, my understanding is that the entire county is going away from elected officials and department heads, and it's going to be just the county making the approval, correct?
It's an institutional change. Yeah.
And
Do you know where-
I don't have
Some of the
any
other job descriptions do have the county listed, Clatsop, Young Hill, others that I looked at did. What I'm told is we're still, as elected officials, protected by ORS when it comes to that.
Mhm.
We still have final decisions on who works in our offices, so even if that's there, because I was going to ask questions like, who is Lincoln County? What does that mean? I don't know. I don't think there's a direct answer, just like we don't have a direct answer on who actually made the changes on here. So I don't know who that is, but I think I looked and I'm specifically protected by the law on those decisions as far as who works with it.
And I think in the personnel rules, I think it does define Lincoln County, and I think elected officials are included in that definition. So even though the language is getting changed based upon ORS and the personnel rules, I do think that ultimately I would have the decision regarding a combination. Is that how you read that thing?
No, but I'm taking all of that in,
Okay.
listening, so I can ask the post questions.
But this isn't a reason to delay this.
No, it's not, right.
So the county.
Agree with that. I think you get into a struggle that will
Yeah.
take you a long time.
Yeah.
So.
You just want to get this posted.
Correct, yes. I'm fine with it being the county, that's fine.
Okay, so what is the timeline? Because we've been,
I'd like to get it done today.
okay.
So we have.
I've got the sheriff is making some changes, and due respect to him, I'd like him to complete those. And then we have something to go with, right?
I'm wondering.
Then I'll move it as quick as ASAP.
Okay,
Okay, how's that?
that's great, because.
But understand something, I don't have dictatorial rule here, right?
Okay.
I think.
So I have to go do it.
Okay, so,
This is a past.
Yeah.
Change it.
okay, so as far as next steps, we'll have to run through the custody. So as far as next steps, you're gonna send the final, one of you guys is gonna send a final description to Tim.
Yes.
Okay, and it can be it then goes to HR.
Yeah, I've got to take it over there and I've got
Okay.
to sit down with him and say, now, here's the argument. This is not what you think it was. This is a administrative coordinator position.
Okay, so when can you meet with them after you
Oh,
get
I
it?
just-
Today?
Yeah, today.
Okay, so you can alert us by, because tomorrow, if there's
Yeah, I'll
any.
just keep you up to date. I'll just
Okay.
keep you up to date.
Okay,
What's
so
going
by
on?
tomorrow, we'll know that it's posted, yeah.
Just gonna keep at it until we get it.
The track change.
Okay. We've been at this for a while.
I know you have. I know you have.
I'm a little frustrated here, so I just
That's the
wanna,
reason why I stepped in.
okay, I just wanna pin somebody down on the timeline, so we're gonna get this over to HR today. We'll know by today if it's trustworthy. Okay, let's go or not.
Line it up and send it to them very short.
Okay, and then you'll update us that it's actually posted. You guys, okay.
So.
The district attorney will know when it's.
Yeah. They should send me a proposed requisite or proposed job posting, and then I think as soon as I approve that,
Then it goes on there.
yeah,
Can you send an email out to our group that it's by the end of the week and just let us know if it's posted or not?
that or not, yes.
Okay, because we were meeting every week just to kind of get something done here.
Yeah.
Okay. When's our,
I will send it to
Are you
you.
around?
Yep.
Okay.
when's our next meeting?
Do you want to schedule one for Monday, and then we can, yeah, if we have a job posted, then we can postpone that. Sure. Does that sound like a good idea?
Yeah, I won't be here at that point. Move on without me.
It's really just to follow up, make sure we got this posted.
And then start working on things, because we need to start working on agreements.
Yes.
Talks and those other things that
Yeah.
we need to get. in
Yes.
place. But once we get this going and hopefully identify somebody very shortly, because then we want to really bring the group back so that that person can catch up on all the work we've been doing.
Right. Guy, when's the next lip sync meeting?
Still waiting for the.
Hi there, I'm still here. The next lip sync meeting is the 15th of November.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Still waiting for the legal.
I have a attorney's section.
I forgot.
It's sometime in
Do we
November.
need any,
To fix out.
anything else?
Actually,
At this
last
point?
night I gotta get the.
No, I'm really glad that.
Progress.
Into February, which is.
Thank you, everybody.
Wait a minute.
Thank you.
Point that.
Just will send out a reminder for next week.
Yeah,